$1,400 trillion in capital markets will be turned into tokens and put on ledgers. We're going to talk about it. This movie also has some great news about XRP and CBDC. I hope you follow me all the way through. My name is Crypto Sensei. Let's begin. We're looking at the size of the market because we now have a single digital chain of ownership that goes from the provider to the investor. There are tokens for everything that is out there in the stock markets right now. On top of that, you can put real estate stocks that are hard to sell, small and medium-sized businesses and so on. And debt, we think there are assets worth $1,400 trillion. In fact, it's more than what we do now. That's what we really care about. Citi said a few months ago that tokenization has grown by 80 times. This tells us where the demand is coming from and how things have changed. Northern Trust and HSB said that 5 to 10% of all assets would be tokenized in the next 6 years. That's about $19,195,000,000,000,000,000,000,000,000. BCG came up with a $164 billion. It's a big number no matter what it is. After that, we look back and say, it's a big number no matter what it is, right? Tokenizing all of this value will take some time. But the truth is that it will be tokenized because it can be, and things like your HBARs, XRPs, and quants, these are the things that these big investors are interested in, right? They know they are compliant because they have been around and been through war. But in the meantime, they've drastically cut the number of dollar deals they've made with each other, whether they were trading between rupees, rubles, yuan, or. You know that your country is the second biggest producer of soybeans and corn in the world. Furthermore, Brazil is selling their corn and soybeans to China in return for yuan, which can be changed right away into gold at the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Then instead of putting all of their extra money into us treasuries, which could get them in trouble, they're putting it into gold, which has not only done much better than the government market over the last 25 years since the turn of the century, but also doesn't have any counterparty risk. Because of sanctions, countries don't want to use the US dollars. This is what Andy is talking about. Russia and Ukraine are an example. More sanctions have been put on Russia than on almost any other country. Billions of dollars have been frozen so that Russia can't use them. He's basically saying that other countries don't want to use US dollars or bonds because they could get their money locked up, and Andy wants to sell gold at the end of the day. Will there be something to settle? You have all of these countries, right? With China and Russia, you have BRICS, India and China, South Africa, Russia and Brazil. Okay, they are all looking at each other and asking, hey, is your currency strong enough to be the world's reserve currency? And if you really ask China, they'll say yes, but 90% of the yuan is still in China, so it's not really a world reserve currency. At the moment, it's not clear how the ruble can be used around the world. India is pretty much on their own. These currencies, the rand from South Africa or the rial from Brazil, are not strong enough to be world reserve currencies. What do they need then? They need a digital asset that can be used as a trustable payment token between all of the countries. Okay, because just because these countries are in BRICS doesn't mean they trust each other with everything, right? Especially money, especially hard money. Okay, Ripple joins with Zodiac Custody to look at how custodies and service types have changed over time. At this point, I think we're in the third generation. What does the fourth generation look like? Interoperability is what we need. It also says that's where you found a lot of conversations or places to talk about caretakers. Okay, we are talking to cleaners. I'll play this now. Also, just to remind you, we've been working with some crazy crypto projects to connect you and give you access that you wouldn't usually have. If you're interested, there's a link at the bottom of the page. You can try us for free for 5 days. As a member of my group, I promise that the information you get will more than cover the cost of your membership. This is all I do. To make sure you have the most up-to-date secret information in the crypto space, I work very hard and never stop. Lots of people use what they learn to make their lives better. When I step back and look at it that way, I think we're in the third generation of parenting services. If you'll excuse me for 30 seconds, I think stage one was a trade that had some custody. It was all happening in what you might call a walled garden, and we'll look at what happened with FTX as an example. Then there were some stewards that worked on their own, and more than one exchange used them. But you still have counterparty risk, pre-funding and other things. The industry is currently on off-exchange settlement, also known as off-venue settlement for a broader view. This means that the assets are still held by a custodian and a safe, secure, controlled, etc., but the exchanges can trade on them. So you're changing your business risk, your risk profile, and so on. This is where things get really interesting for off-exchange settlement. You'll no longer be able to do one-to-one deals between an exchange and a broker. Instead, you'll have to do many-to-many deals. Because of this, middleware or a center like ClearToken and other projects going on around the world are useful. That will then change a lot of how people can get to the places and also how the cleaners can do their jobs. That's where I think we will grow then. I believe there will be a big drop in the number of caretakers. I believe that a number of the trades will become much less common. I think the most interesting part is when the places come in and do something very specific for the clients. It's a long answer, but I think it's that many-to-many, which I think it will be. Okay, it's going to be very important to have many-to-many. And now the last clip. Yes, I'm free to play. Okay, these videos shouldn't be too long, but check this out. This comes from 801XRP. A big thank you to him. Summit, How to Handle Rapid Innovation, May 6th and 7th. Fabio Panetta, who is in charge of the Bank Italia. Let me play this. Tokenization is a great way for central banks to make it easier for people to buy and sell large amounts of central bank money. But as I already said, a lot of central banks are now working on CBDC projects, especially large-scale CBDC projects. Let me give you an example from the point of view of the euro system. Right now, the euro system is testing out new solutions based on DLT and how these tests would affect the gold services. The infrastructure that we use for bank-to-bank transactions in the euro area is what the gold services are. To do this, we need to figure out how to use this with target services to settle the euro cash part of deals in central bank money. We are looking into making a technology link between the central bank's cash settlement system and the private gap platform outside the bank that handles tokenized digital assets as one of our options. The more I hear government and bank leaders talking about these kinds of systems, the more sure I am that they are talking about your quants, XRPs, and XLMs. These guys are all talking about this technology in this private relationship. This is why I'm so sure that these assets will be very valuable in the long run. Right now, I'm not a business agent. I am just a guy who likes to watch crypto material and tell you what he thinks. So don't use anything I say to help you with your money. Let's keep going. Option is mostly used for use cases like delivery versus payment, deals on the secondary market, and managing the life cycle of securities. We're also looking into a different option, though, which is one that starts from scratch. A DLT platform for the euro system that will help bank money settle, along with a way for this platform to talk to market DLT platforms. Along with the EU, the euro system has made plans to do experimental work on the market in 2024 based on this work. The goal is to get a clear picture of what new technologies like DLT could do to improve the capital markets and bulk settlement, as well as how the various choices stack up from a business and technical point of view. Yeah, I guess I should end by saying that tokenization is very important to the committee's payments and market systems in order to carry out its duties. As a standard center, we will continue to focus on making sure that payment, clearing, and settlement are safe and quick. The committee's main work will still go on. Its ideals like good risk management, good governance, and a clear and strong legal framework will still be important. This would be true even if tokens weren't used, though. I'm going to stop now. Thanks. Okay, thanks. Some pretty good talks. They're talking about a few other summits and some tech stuff that I care about. I hope you watch those too. I hope this taught you something. If you did, please give the video a like, subscribe, and share it with someone else. Thanks to you, the channel is getting bigger. So thank you very much. I'll see you soon. I was the Crypto Sensei. Hello.